The collapse. I never imagined my life would change with something as ordinary as a headache. I was 17, raised in a devout Jewish family in Brooklyn. We observed the Sabbath, kept kosher, and celebrated every festival. I had never stepped foot in a church, or even held a conversation with a Christian about their beliefs. That day, my head throbbed so intensely I could barely think. I collapsed in my bedroom before I could even call for help. Everything went dark. My parents later told me it was a brain aneurysm. 1 in a million, the doctor said. But what I experienced while my body lay unconscious wasn't darkness. It was the beginning of something beyond, leaving my body. At first, I thought I was dreaming. I was standing beside my own body, watching paramedics work frantically. My mother sobbed in the hallway. My father clutched a prayer book, whispering verses of the Shema. I wanted to tell them I was okay, but they couldn't hear me. Then I felt a force pulling me upward. I floated higher and higher, through the ceiling, past the roof, until the city lights faded beneath me. I was moving towards something, toward light. It wasn't the sun. It was brighter, warmer, more alive than anything I had ever felt. And then, the light spoke. The voice in the light. The light didn't speak in words. It was like pure knowledge being poured into my soul. I understood everything it conveyed without sound. It was infinite. Timeless. It asked me one question. Are you ready? I didn't know what I was supposed to be ready for. But something in me answered yes. Suddenly, I was moving again, faster this time. And I was no longer alone. 2 figures appeared beside me. They looked human, but radiant. Their faces shone like fire and peace combined. I instinctively knew they were angels. Not because someone told me, but because I could feel their essence. One of them said, "You are loved more than you could ever understand." That's when we arrived. The border of eternity. We landed, or maybe arrived, at a boundary. On one side, it was gray and lifeless, stretching into emptiness. On the other was a realm so full of color and vibrance it pulsed like a heartbeat. I wanted to step into that beauty, but something held me back. "Not yet," the angel said. Instead, I was shown a series of visions, moments from my life. Times I was kind, moments I was selfish, arguments I thought were forgotten, and quiet acts of love I never imagined anyone noticed. Each memory felt like a lesson, and I was the student. Then, the landscape changed. I was being summoned. The man in white. A figure began approaching from the vibrant realm. He wore white so bright it shimmered like water in sunlight. I couldn't see his face at first, but I felt his presence before he arrived. It was peace. Raw, divine peace. But also authority, like the presence of a king. He walked straight toward me and looked into my soul without asking a single question. And then I heard his voice. "Shalom, my child." That voice shattered every wall I'd ever built around my faith. My knees buckled. I wasn't afraid, but I was overwhelmed. He said, "I am Yeshua. And I have known you since before you were formed." I knew him. I couldn't understand it. How could I feel such love from a man I never believed in? I grew up hearing the name Jesus only in passing. A figure of another faith. A stranger. But standing before him now, I knew him. It was like recognizing someone you hadn't seen since you were a child, yet loved deeply. "Why me?" I asked, trembling. He smiled, not with his lips, but with his whole being. "Because I love you. And because your heart has always searched for truth, even when you didn't know it." I broke. I wept like a child. And he embraced me. A different kind of judgment. I expected condemnation. I had broken commandments, lied, hurt others, doubted God. But instead of judgment, Jesus showed me grace. He walked me through moments where I had turned away from truth. Yet he had still protected me. He said, "Judgment is not punishment, it's revelation." It's showing you who you are and who I made you to be. And I saw it. I saw a version of myself I didn't even know existed, kind, courageous, full of faith. I asked him, "Am I dead?" He replied, "You are at the edge. But there is more I need to show you." The room of secrets. Jesus led me into a space that felt outside of time. A massive chamber filled with light, music, and the scent of something indescribably sweet. In the center was a book. Enormous, ancient, alive. "The Book of Life," he said. I hesitated. My name wasn't there, was it? He touched the cover and it opened on its own. Pages flipped quickly, until one stopped in front of me. There it was. My name. Etched in light. Tears ran down my face. "But I never followed you," I said. "You followed the Father," he said gently. "And the Father sent me. Return or remain." He gave me a choice. "You can stay, or you can return. But know this. Your return will not be easy. You will carry truth that others will reject. You will speak of me, and some will call you a traitor." I thought of my family, my synagogue, my culture. "I can't betray them," I said. He replied, "You are not betraying them. You are fulfilling them. I am not a stranger to Israel. I am its promise." He let me see a vision of myself, older, speaking to others, leading, loving, wounded but unshaken. And I understood. I had to go back. Back to the world. Waking up felt like falling through glass. The hospital lights were harsh, the pain in my head unbearable. But I was alive. The doctors called it a miracle. They said most people with aneurysms like mine don't make it, let alone wake up fully coherent. But I wasn't the same. Something in me had changed. I saw the world differently. I could feel love in ways I hadn't before. I spoke to my rabbi, but I couldn't explain everything. Not yet. But I began writing. Journaling. Praying. To Yeshua. Rejection and revelation. Telling my family was the hardest thing I've ever done. My father thought I was brainwashed. My mother cried for days. I was asked to leave the synagogue. I lost friends. Invitations stopped coming. Whispers filled the community. But I also found something new, believers who welcomed me. Gentiles and Messianic Jews who had walked this path before. I wasn't alone. And most importantly, I never felt abandoned. Jesus, Yeshua, was with me every step of the way. He never left. Why I tell my story? Years have passed since that day. I've studied both Torah and the New Testament. I now understand what I couldn't before, that Yeshua is the fulfillment of everything I was taught as a child. He is the Messiah. And I saw him, not in a vision, not in a dream, but in a place beyond this life. That's why I speak out. Not to convert or condemn, but to testify. If it happened to me, it can happen to anyone. I was a Jewish boy who met Jesus in the afterlife. And it changed everything.